Hey there guys, Aldershot here, and today we're going to do an impression video on South Park The Stick of Truth, recently released on Steam for $60. So it's priced as a AAA game, and some people might be asking, is it worth, the asking price of $60? We'll discuss that down the road, of course, so let's quickly go through the menus. You got your standard continue, load, and new game, of course. You can check out their downloadable content that might be available with a click of a button. Luckily there isn't, because day one downloadable content is kind of bullshit, let's admit it. Let's check out the options. So our options are pretty low as well. We have gameplay difficulties. I've only played under normal right now just to get a general feel of the game. I might start a new game with hardcore after this recording. And then you have your audio mixer here, you can turn those up or down. Subtitles, we're going to keep it on for the sake of this recording because I will be talking over the video and maybe some of you guys want to know what the characters are saying. You can turn full screen on or off, of course, change your resolution, and gamma. So pretty bare bones basic, but you know what, this is a 2D sprite game and it probably doesn't need a whole lot of graphical options or anything like that. This game does support controllers, or you can use keyboard and mouse. I'm using a controller for the sake of this recording, so there's less, button pushing sounds and stuff like that. Anyways, let's load a game. We're not going to start right in the beginning, because if you guys are interested in this game, I don't want you guys repeating the same stuff right away. So let's see, let's start in the police station. We're not too far into the game, so not too much of a spoiler.
Ethics test from the Intergalactic Federation, Dragon, self-aware school supplies, self-aware department stores, Mongolian attacks.
There we go, I didn't want to interrupt that. Give you a example of the dialogue of the game, which I have to say is done very, very well. Alright, so as you can see, the game looks a lot like the TV show. They've actually done quite a good job at making the game look and feel like the TV show South Park, which is actually awesome to see. That's definitely one of the reasons why a lot of gamers like myself who are South Park fans would probably be interested in this game. And I can say right away that the game does accomplish the look and feel of the show, which is actually pretty nice, which is obviously a good thing. So, you can go to like vending machines and stuff like that to buy different items, and they will do different things. Cheesy Puffs will restore your health. A snack cake will restore more of your health. Then tacos will revive you, etc., etc. So, they've done a pretty good job at inserting, basic kind of RPG tropes into this game as well. Which this game is an RPG, by the way, if you didn't know that already. This game also has some pretty cool little Easter eggs, so as you can see, if you're fans of the South Park show, which I would imagine a lot of you guys are if you're watching this video, that it often makes references to itself, quite a lot actually. And you can also do like environmental styles of small puzzles, I guess you can say. You can break things with your attack, and if you can't reach it, I just showcased the arrow there. You can also shoot the arrow, and that will also, do the trick of breaking things in the environment, alright? And that is actually going to be a way of you collecting loot. I guess it's their way of replacing the usual, like barrels and boxes that you break in traditional RPGs. But in this game, you break, like, mayo jars or trash cans, So it's basically, what you would expect from a standard turn-based RPG. And by the way, this is a turn-based RPG. I did mention that was already an RPG, but I don't think I mentioned it was turn-based. We'll get into some combat, and maybe we can show off some examples of the combat of this game as well, hopefully. You can also collect miscellaneous loot. The way armor works is basically clothing. If you find new clothing, you can equip it, and they usually will offer different effects as well. Right now, by the way, I chose the Jew class. You can choose like 4 different classes: a fighter, a mage, something else I don't remember, and a Jew. Obviously, I had to pick the Jew. Everyone I talked to that played this game pretty much picked the Jew. How can you not, right? The way Jews work is described as a high risk, high reward kind of class. So you actually get bonuses from suffering from low health or status effects, stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting. Anyways, back to the clothing. So as you can see, you can actually change your clothes. Right now I'm using the holy robes, and that lets me take less damage from bleeding. Oh, actually, I take less damage when I'm bleeding, so there you go. That's a little example of the Jew gameplay. However, I could use bling, which I think I'm going to do right now, and I can gain more money from wearing this, which I think would be useful in the beginning of the game. You can also modify it with patches, and the patches will add additional effects. So let's take a look. At level 3, I can gain more money. Level 4, I gain more health, etc, etc. I think you guys get it. Unfortunately, I'm not high enough level to use any of these patches, so I'm going to have to just wait. You can also customize your clothing as well, which is a nice little touch. You can go into dyes and kind of change the color up a little bit. Let's go black. Why not? Black's always in. Alright, and you do got different sets of clothings as well. Let's see. That's not what I meant to do. Alright, so you can, obviously change your weapons. Your hat, shirt, and rings is what's going to give you your statuses. And these are your customizable parts. These are purely aesthetics from my understanding, and you can collect different aesthetic pieces as you play through the game. Alright, and these are your inventory. You got your junk, which is basically just stuff that you would sell, and your consumables, which is what you would expect from a traditional RPG. So there you go. That's a little bit of the menu and basic mechanics of this RPG. I'm sure a lot of you guys are curious about how this is actually going to work as a turn-based RPG. And I gotta say, they've done a pretty good job at inserting, traditional RPG tropes and mechanics, while still keeping and maintaining the feel of South Park, which is actually kind of nice to see.
Sorry, kid, I'm too busy to talk to you right now. Maybe later.
This game definitely accomplishes something that a lot of licensed games can't, and that's, making a good feeling game as well, while trying to keep the general feel of the source material. And again, this game actually does that pretty good. Alright, so it does feature, the aesthetics of the show, down to the very minute detail, including the way it animates, the way you walk and run and the likes. The humor, the script, they even got the same voice actors. I believe Trey Parker and Matt Stone wrote the script and done the voices, etc, etc. If you watch the show in HD, you'll notice that if you really pay attention to some of the textures that they use for the characters and environments, they kind of overlay this kind of cardboard, or not cardboard, but construction paper texture over everything, where this game, or not this game, this series, this show, originated as stop motion film using construction paper, and they emulated that in this game as well. So that really helps with portraying the basic feel of South Park. This game pays attention to all the small details as far as getting it to feel right, which is a lot more I can say about this game than I can say about a lot of the other licensed properties, let's say. So, I mean, if you look at games like Rambo, which is recently released, that was done pretty terribly from what I've seen. I haven't actually played it myself, admittedly, but just the way they did it, the game, like Rambo, doesn't look like the movie, it doesn't feel like the movie, and the game mechanics are fairly poor in general. Now, this game is a different story. It feels like South Park, it looks like South Park, it sounds like South Park, but at the same time still, still feel like a game, alright? Which is actually kind of nice to see. So there you go, a little bit of some of the story.
They conquered me last week, act natural.
I love this city walk guy. As you would expect, the humor is offensive and and pretty edgy, alright? I think most people who are familiar at all with South Park would come to expect this. However, I've seen some some things from this game that simply cannot be unseen, let's just say. Alright? I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but this game can get pretty nasty sometimes, in the best kind of way, alright?
They move away. Go, beat up the little Mongolian kids.
So yeah, I'm picking up a mini quest, which there's actually quite a bit of mini quests in this game. Basically, you want me to take out the Mongolian kids in order to, you know, make the Mongolians that overtook City Walk think that the neighborhood is bad, and they'll maybe leave. At least that's the hope. So as you can see, you know, there's stores in the game. Each kind of business that you would expect to see in South Park basically works as a store that you would expect from a traditional turn-based RPG. Alright, we're getting into some combat, so I can show you a little bit of that. It's done actually pretty interestingly. I mean, it's not the most complex combat system I've ever seen, but at the same time, they did add their own little flavor to keep it interesting. I'll show you that in a second now. So this isn't like Final Fantasy VII, where it's, you know, what you would expect from an ATB style turn-based, where it's an active time. I think some of you guys are familiar with that. If not, it doesn't really matter, okay? Let's just say that. It's turn-based. That's the important part I'm trying to get across. So you have your abilities, you have normal attacks, and each turn you have the ability to use an item or an attack. You can actually use an item and attack. So I'll show you an example of that. Let's use a cure potion for no reason at all. Alright, so there you go. I'm using an item. However, it's still my turn. I still get another phase this turn, which is the active phase, I guess you can call. And I can choose to either use a regular attack or abilities. We're going to use some abilities. We're going to use Jujitsu, which is a nice little attack. Basically allows me to stun an opponent. And here's the interesting part. I got some QTE elements to the gameplay. Right there, although it didn't prompt me to do it. I had to actually mash the A to do as much damage with Jujitsu as possible. Maybe this one will prompt. So let's use regular attack. Oh, there it is. There's a prompt. Press X when Butter's hammer flashes with the little star thing. So let's do that. There's a star, and then we hit the X button. And that will give us extra damage if we hit it with perfect timing. And we can also block. When that shield comes underneath my character, that means I can press A to block, and that will reduce the amount of incoming damage. So yeah, there's a little element of QTE to keep the game interesting, instead of just hitting, you know, instead of just choosing an attack and then waiting for it to happen, waiting for it to roll the dice. This game involves the player a little bit. So you also have to pay attention with the stances as well, as he's in the repositing stance. I don't know what you pronounce it, but yeah, it's basically a counter stance. So you go up to him with a melee attack, you're gonna get hurt. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our long range ability to start David. And this is where I kind of swirl around the control stick on my controller and hit A when that little ding or those stars show up, and I'll do extra damage. Alright, so it's, yeah, the combat is kind of interesting in that way, where it does involve the player a little bit more with sort of a QTE event. Adds a little bit more skill to the turn-based combat, instead of just, again, waiting for a dice roll. It involves the player's reaction. So that's kind of interesting. I wouldn't, you know, it's not exceptionally innovative by any means, but all the same, it definitely mixes things up a little bit. Alright, so we use Jujitsu on this guy to stun him, because he can do a lot of damage to us. And then we just take care of the archers. And we're going to use Butter's lightning attack, because it can actually hit multiple enemies in a column. So we're going to do that. And pretty much all attacks have a QTE event. Like right now I have to wait for lightning to strike and hit the A button to do maximum damage. I'll actually miss a QTE to show you an example of what would happen. So I'm not going to hit the attack button. Oh, actually, if I don't hit the attack button at all, apparently I don't attack at all. So let's see what happens when I miss the timing. So I'm hitting, there you go, too soon, right? I didn't do very much damage. So yeah, there you go, pretty interesting. The Jew has long range and short range. He's a little bit more versatile. Butters is straight up paladin, so he's all close range. So let's see, he's armored, so let's use the armor breaking attack. And each player or actually the Jew himself has 2 attacks. Normal attack, which strikes multiple times and can potentially do more damage, has higher damage potential, but he has a harder attack which breaks through armor, and he's armor, so obviously I use that attack. Butters, however, is only the power attack, which goes right through armor, which makes sense, I guess. He is using a big old hammer. So there you go, that's a bit of the combat. Not too complicated. No, not too complicated at all. I think most people who played any turn-based RPG whatsoever will understand the combat mechanics pretty quickly and pretty easily. Alright, so is this game fun? You know, that's the thing. I mean, you're paying $60, which is a AAA game essentially. This game is a AAA game in its own right, alright, to be fair. But some people have asked and brought up, like, is this game actually worth $60? I mean, this is a 2D sprite game, alright? So we're used to seeing 2D sprite games as, like, you know, $10, $15, $30 maybe. But, you know, do keep in mind, this was produced by a AAA studio, and it has talents from, like, Matt Stone, Trey Parker, and this has been in development for quite a few years. I believe it was on hiatus for a little while, and then they decided to finally push it out. And I gotta say, I was afraid that they're gonna rush it, but they've done a pretty good job of it from what I've seen. But anyways, back to, is it worth the money? $60. I think it is. I honestly think it is. To be honest, if this game wasn't South Park, I might not have purchased this game. Oh, I should have been paying attention. This is what happens when you don't. If this wasn't South Park, I might not be as interested in this game. As, you know, even though I have to say I do enjoy the basic mechanics of the combat in this game and the general adventuring of this game, it's hard to really justify $60 for a pretty minimalistic RPG as far as mechanics is concerned. However, they've done such a great job at mimicking the show's aesthetics, its sound. The script is hilarious, and I just died. I should have been paying attention instead of yabbering on, but that's okay, that's okay. I swear I'm not this terrible normally. But anyways, as I was saying, yeah, it's definitely worth $60, basically because they have done quite a good job at capturing the South Park feel, while still giving us an enjoyable game, alright? And that's what really matters. Again, you know, the mechanics are fairly bare bones. It's not, you know, mechanically it's not bad by any means. It's just very, very basic. And if if this wasn't South Park, I might not be interested in this game, alright? But again, because they've done such a good job at capturing the feel, the story is pretty funny, features pretty much everything you would expect from South Park, and done a good job of doing that too. That, yeah, it's worth the experience. Absolutely, it's worth the experience. Alright, so I'm not really sure how long the game actually is. I heard it's around 15 to 20 hours, which is, you know, fair length for today's RPGs. It's not the longest RPG I've ever seen, but considering what you're getting, what you're really paying for, which is the South Park experience, it's fair enough, you know. 15-20 hours is essentially a full season of South Park, what you would expect a season of South Park would be, right? Alright, so let's res Butters and not repeat what happened last time. Revive him with the magical the holy taco, there we go. Not bad. And let's kill this guy. Why not? Let's just get rid of this guy. Alright, much better. I want to show you guys a little bit of the overworld before we call it quits for this video. We are kind of doing a quest. You know what? Actually, let's finish this quest, because I think there's a really cool boss on the roof. So let's do that. Show you a little bit more of the combat, why not? And this time I'll actually pay attention to it. Alright, so I'm the Jew. What should I do? Let's stun the melee guy first, so he doesn't do a whole bunch of damage to us. I'm going to use Jujitsu for that. Quite a good build, I gotta say. And again, you have to mash the A to get the full potential. Example of the QT elements. I forgot to mention, Butters actually has a healing ability, but he can't heal himself, so do keep that in mind. We're going to use lightning on the archers in the back because it does attack in a column, making full potential of the moveset, so why not? Oh, we killed them both with one strike, not bad at all. That guy's still stunned. We're in the clear pretty much, so let's just finish him off. He has armor, so let's use our heavy attack. And that also causes bleeding potentially, which is nice to see. Another, you know, traditional RPG trope that they've managed to insert into this game. And again, they've done a pretty good job. They kind of like replaced a lot of you know, what you expect in RPGs with South Park stuff, you know? Like, the overworld isn't this beautiful, lush forest, it's the town of South Park, which is... and they've done a good job of that as well. I believe I had to shoot this down, so let's do that. Collect this for some reason. Oh, right, okay, I see what we have to do here. We gotta put the dragon part there, shoot the eyes here, and shoot the eyes here. Okay, yeah, that's pretty... that makes sense. Logical. So this game does feature some minor puzzles as well. They're very minor from what I've seen so far. I'm about 3 hours in, give or take. Actually, this game I loaded might only be an hour in, so even less than that. So okay, we're going to fight a boss, the Mongolians. I remember these guys from that episode, the China Wall episode. That was pretty funny, I gotta say. Let's stun these guys. Hopefully it works. I don't know if it will. Because traditionally in RPGs, status effects don't work on bosses. And they're immune to it. Of course. I should have known. Alright, well, you know what? We're going to use ability on these guys. We're going to use the Hammer of Justice. I believe that does quite a bit of damage when used properly.
By the hammer of letters.
Alright, not bad. They're immune to the effect, of course. So... oh, we missed the timing on our block there and took quite a bit of damage, so do keep that in mind. And who am I now? I am the Jew. I'm douchebag. That's what you get called. It doesn't matter what name you put in, you get called douchebag. Spoiler. I'm going to heal Butters for a small amount of health, and I'm going to use Butters' healing ability on me. So there you go, some basic RPG strategies for you guys. A little bit of damage. Healing touch, that's the move.
Yeah, that's it, little buddy.
That's hilarious. You know, that's straight up classic Butters. Again, they've inserted so much like South Park feel to this game. It really does make it worth the money. I gotta say, the $60 is definitely worth the experience. From what I've seen so far, I can honestly recommend it, even at such a high price point. Although I have to admit, $60 is pretty high, even for like, you know, what you would traditionally consider a AAA game. Let's say Metro. Okay, Metro, the latest Metro that came out, that was only $40 or $50 when it first came out on PC. So, and that game had crazy graphic fidelity. But you know, this game's not all about graphics. Obviously, it's about the experience. So what are we doing here? We're gonna heal, right? As I was saying, you know, games like that, they came out for less than this game. So, honestly, I can recommend it from my experience, and do keep in mind I'm a big fan of South Park, so I do come from a small bias, alright? So I do kind of recommend doing your homework, maybe watch a couple of Let's Plays to see if you actually will enjoy the gameplay. Because again, $60 is pretty high price, I have to admit. I'd be lying to tell you that it's not, right? Alright, so we're on fire, let's put that out. And hopefully Butters can heal us again on his turn. Let's try the bow sucking, see what that does to these guys. Not very much, oh my. Okay, we can heal again, okay.
I got your back, yo.
So it's a bit of a trial and error, although you can examine them to see their abilities and weaknesses. So Y for more info. Immune to pretty much everything, okay. Good to know. It would have been nice to know before I fought these guys. I probably should have done that earlier, but you know, that's all you can do. Hindsight's 20/20. So again, you have to strike when you see that star. You do extra damage. Wait for that shield and block. Oh, too early and took a lot of damage. Oh my. Alright, so we're getting into a little bit of the danger zone here. Let's do a large heal to Butters, and Butters can use his healing on me again. Right, by the way, my character is not customized to look like me. Don't think that looks like me whatsoever. But just so you guys know. Alright, let's do a heavy attack. Alright, they're bleeding. Good, good. That's a good thing. Alright, let's heal up our old Jew buddy here. There we go. Kyle's not the only Jew in town now. Let's do a strike on these guys. Alright, we're getting there. We're not dying too much, so... Oh, too early on the block. Too early again. Oh my, multiple strikes. You do gotta be careful. Sometimes they do have multiple strikes. And you have to anticipate that. I think they're done after this attack, hopefully. Yep. Down they go. After every combat, by the way, your health and your MP regenerates. They actually call MP PP because this game is immature and awesome like that. It represents power points, just so you guys know. So let's take care of these guys some more. To be honest, I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to show off much of the combat in this game. From the looks of it, I'm actually showing off quite a bit of it. So yeah, there you go.
Feel my righteous fury.
Alright, took care of one guy. One more guy to go. Let's block that attack. The Jew actually has an interesting ability where if you get perfect blocks, you can counter attack, which is kind of nice, actually. Didn't kill him. Should have used my armor piercing attack. Oh well, we'll use it with Butters. And there we go. So I think you guys get a pretty good feel of the combat. I kind of want to explore the rest of the game a little bit more. So I can show off the feel of it. Because that's really where this game shines, is how it feels. The script, again, is wonderfully written. Hilarious. Alright. And the voice acting's going to be as good as the TV show that used the same voice actors, right? And the graphics are really, really good, I gotta say. They've done a wonderful job mimicking the show's aesthetics.
Not bosses though, they too tough. You call me with this, I give you one per day.
Alright, so we actually unlocked a summoning spell, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's something else I want to show you too. You can actually collect Facebook friends right here, which is pretty cool. This lets you upgrade an ability. Oh, we got a point, so let's do that. Let's upgrade our jujitsu a little bit.
If you ever want some work done on your nose.
And you can pretty much attack anybody and anything without much consequences. I think that's for the sake of experimenting. Alright, so I'm going to show off the world map a little bit. This is the world map. Just like any traditional RPG you would expect to see, we'll have a nice overworld, and this is essentially it, the town of South Park. You can actually explore this freely. You can tackle quests and the likes in any order you like. Just like in traditional RPGs that you would play, you know. We're going to want to do the main quest last, alright? So there you go, guys. That's South Park, the Stick of Truth. Pretty fun game, I have to say. To sum it up, it is definitely a quality game. I'm very, very much enjoying it. It captures the feel of the show extremely well, while still offering some interesting mechanics and still being a fun, worthwhile game. And that's quite an accomplishment, considering licensed games generally kind of suck. That's generally the rule of thumb, unfortunately. It's not always the case, and fortunately for us, this is one of those examples that where it can actually do quite well and plays off the license very, very well. There's a little bit more combat. You do get into random encounters sometimes, another basic RPG trope. And yeah, there you go, guys. I think you guys get the picture. South Park, the Stick of Truth, not a bad game. I definitely recommend it. Whether it's worth $60 or not, that's going to be completely up to you. So check out more videos like this to get a better feel of what you're looking for. And if you think it is worth it, then go for it. Go for purchase. You can't go wrong, because I'm enjoying the game. That's for sure. If you're looking for a true South Park experience, an interactive one, this is definitely going to be the game for you. Alright, if you're looking for more mechanically strong RPG, you might want to do some research. Alright. Anyways, that's enough about the game. I think you guys get the points. So yeah, if you enjoy this, if you found this informative in any way, please send me some love. Like, share, fave, and comment. But most importantly, please subscribe, help me grow, and feed me my vegetables. That would mean the world to me. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. All the shoutouts.